The room was dark and cold. Sergeant Ray Carter opened his eyes slowly. His head felt heavy, like he had slept for 100 years. The bed beneath him was hard. A thin blanket covered his chest, but it didn't help much. Cold air touched his skin like icy fingers. He sat up slowly, confused. Last thing he remembered was the battlefield. Loud explosions, smoke, and screaming, and then ... darkness. "Where am I?" he whispered. No one answered. The walls were metal. The ceiling blinked with a weak red emergency light. It was not a human base. The room felt ... alien. Ray reached for his belt. No weapons, no armor, just a hospital-like uniform. He swung his legs down and stood up. His body ached, but he could walk. Then he heard it. Chains. Rattling chains. He turned quickly in the corner of the room. A shape moved. Something small. Someone. Sitting on the floor, knees pulled to chest. Long white hair covered most of the face. "Who are you?" Ray asked. No reply. He took a step closer, and the shape flinched. The chains on her wrists rattled again.
Ow.
Could see clearly it was a girl, an alien girl. Her skin was pale blue, like the sky before night. She wore torn clothes, dirty, barefoot. Her eyes, large and golden, stared at him with fear. Ray stopped. He raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "It's okay," he said softly. The girl didn't speak. She only stared, breathing fast. Ready to run, though, she was chained and had nowhere to go. Ray noticed something strange. There was a table near the bed. On it, a small box with a blinking light. He opened it. Inside was a note, written in alien and human language. "To the hero of the final war, your reward. She is yours. Do what you wish." Ray's face turned cold. He looked back at the girl. A reward? They gave him a living being as a gift. He looked at her again. She still sat there, shaking. Her thin arms had bruises, collar with old burn marks. Her hands were chained together like a criminal. "This is wrong," Ray whispered. He took a deep breath. He wasn't that kind of man. He wasn't a monster. He moved toward her slowly. "Are you hungry?" he asked. Still no answer. But her eyes shifted to a small food tray in the corner. He picked it up and brought it closer, then placed it on the floor and stepped back. The girl looked at him, then at the food, very slowly, like a scared animal. She crawled forward and picked up the food. She ate in silence. She didn't look up. Ray sat down against the wall, watching her quietly. So many questions filled his mind. Who was she? Why was she given to him? And why did she look so broken? He noticed something else. Around her ankles were faded tattoo marks, symbols of a slave market. He had seen them during the war. She must have been taken when she was young, sold, beaten, trained to obey Ray. It felt sick. She was a victim of the same war he had fought in. After a few minutes, she finished eating. She crawled back to the corner and sat again, hugging her knees. Still, silent. Ray leaned forward. "What's your name?" No reply. "My name is Ray," he said. "I'm a soldier. I fought for peace. I didn't ask for this. For you." Eyes flickered. A small twitch in her fingers. Did she understand? He tried again. "You're not a thing, not a reward. You're free now." "Do you understand?" She looked up. Not fully, just a small tilt of her head. Her lips moved, but no words came out. A strange silence filled the room. Not an empty silence, but one full of pain, fear. In deep mystery, Ray knew one thing. This was not going to be easy. But he made a promise in that moment. He would not treat her like a slave. He would find out the truth, and maybe, just maybe, he could help her heal. The morning came slowly. But the girl hadn't moved. She still sat in the corner, arms around her knees, eyes half open, like she hadn't slept at. All Ray Carter opened his eyes and looked at her from across the room. He had spent the whole night on the floor, wrapped in nothing but a blanket. No weapons, no tools. Just a growing storm of questions in his head. But one thing was clear. The girl Hadn't said a single word. Ray stood up and stretched his back. Hurt in his stomach growled, but he ignored it. Instead, he focused on her. She watched him quietly, like an animal in a trap. Ray didn't move too fast. He didn't want to scare her. He found a small food tray. He left outside the chamber door to water packs and a few protein bars. He came back, sat on the floor, and opened one bar. Then he opened another and placed it on the floor between them. "Here," he said gently. "This one's for you." She didn't touch it. Ray took a bite of his own and waited. Minutes passed, finally. The girl reached out, slow and careful, and grabbed the food. She still didn't speak. Ray watched her, searching her face for any sign of fear, anger, confusion. But there was only silence. "Do you understand me?" he asked. No answer. He tried again. "My name is Ray. Can you say your name?" Nothing. But her golden eyes blinked once, then twice. That was something. Ray sighed and leaned back. His eyes drifted toward the ceiling. "This room feels like a cage," he muttered. "For both of us." Suddenly, a soft sound came from the girl, a short breath. Like a laugh, but broken. Ray turned to her, surprised. "You laughed." The girl quickly looked away, eyes wide. She didn't mean to let that out. Ray gave a small smile. "That's okay. You can laugh. You can speak too if you want." She didn't look at him. But now Ray was sure she understood. Every word. He took a small notebook from a cabinet in the corner. There was a pen inside. He opened a fresh page and wrote in large letters, "What is your name?" He placed it in front of her, along with the pen. The girl stared at the words, eyes frozen. She reached out, paused, then pulled her hand back.
"No."
Ray asked softly. "You don't want to tell me?" The girl looked at him. Her eyes weren't angry. They were sad. Like her name didn't matter anymore. Like she didn't believe she had one. That broke Ray's heart more than he expected. "Okay," he said quietly. "You don't have to." Just then, something strange happened. The metal collar around her neck blinked blue for a second, then turned off again. Ray's eyes narrowed. "What was that?" The girl quickly touched the collar, like trying to hide it. Ray stepped forward slowly. "Let me see." She backed away fast, the chains rattling again. No, it's okay," he said. "I just want to help." But the girl shook her head. Tears started to fall down her cheeks, but she made no sound. She cried in silence. Ray stood frozen. She had learned to cry without a voice, maybe even punished when she made noise in the past. That thought filled him with quiet rage. He sat down again, this time closer. "You don't have to be afraid," he said. "I won't hurt you. I won't chain you. You are not a gift. You're not a slave." The girl stared at him for a long time. Then, with trembling fingers, she pointed to herself, and finally she whispered her first word. A name, broken and small. Allura. Ray's eyes softened. "Lura," he repeated. "That's your name?" She nodded once. Slowly Ray smiled. "Thank you for trusting me." But deep inside he knew this was only the beginning. She had finally spoken. But what she wasn't saying was probably far more dangerous. Ray was wiping blood from her arm when he saw it. A strange line beneath her skin, thin, glowing, faint blue light-like energy moving under the surface. He paused. "Lura," he said gently. "What is this?" The girl flinched. Her other hand moved quickly to cover the spot, but Ray had already seen it. "I'm not trying to hurt you," he added, "but I saw something. It's under your skin." Lura didn't answer. She pulled away and curled into herself, pressing her back against the wall like a scared animal. Ray stood still. He didn't want to scare her more. He slowly opened the drawer of the wall panel and pulled out a handheld medical scanner, standard alien tech he had learned to use during the war. "I'm just going to scan," he said calmly. "No touching. Just a light." She watched him carefully but didn't move. He pointed the scanner toward her arm, just above where he saw the light. Beep. The screen lit up. Ray's eyes widened. Classified biotech restricted warning. Bioweapon signature DITEs. Heart skipped a beat. A bioweapon? Was she ... dangerous? He looked up at her. She wasn't attacking. She wasn't trying to escape. She looked more like someone who had been used, not someone who wanted to harm others. "What are you?" Ray whispered. Lyra lowered her eyes. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was soft, almost broken. "I was made." Ray leaned closer. "Made? What do you mean?" She looked up at him, eyes filled with sadness and something else. "Guilt. They built me," she said, "for the war." Ray felt his breath stop. "Built you to fight?" She nodded. "To kill humans." Ray stepped back, confused and stunned. The same girl he had been protecting was created to destroy him, but she wasn't trying to. In fact, she hadn't even tried to escape. He sat down on the floor in front of her, his mind spinning. "You said your name is Lyra. You have feelings. You cry. How can you be a weapon?" Lyra didn't answer at first. Then slowly, she touched her neck. The collar blinked again. "I escaped before they finished me," she whispered. "I ran before the final command was given." Ray understood. Now she was created by the enemy, engineered as a living weapon, but she escaped before they could control her completely. That made her dangerous. Not because of what she did, but because of what she could become. That's why someone gave her away like a gift, to get rid of the evidence, to hide the mistake. Ray felt his jaw tighten. "You weren't a reward," he said.
"Oh."
"They wanted me. To find you, to either activate you, or destroy you." Lyra nodded slowly. "I was too strong to keep," she said. "Too human to kill." Her words cut deep. She had been running, hiding, surviving in silence. That's why she wouldn't speak. That's why she looked at him with fear, because she was built to be a monster. But she never wanted to be one. Ray stood up and walked to the table. He picked up the scanner and looked at her data again. The glowing circuits in her arms weren't just for strength. They were coded. Locked tech. Possibly. Something that could turn back on. "If they find you," Ray said, "they'll either reprogram you or destroy you." Lyra nodded again. "I don't want to go back," she said. "You won't," Ray promised. She looked at him, unsure. "Why would you help me? I was built to kill you." Ray looked her straight in the eyes. "Because you didn't." Silence fell between them again. But this time it wasn't cold. It was heavy. Full of trust, fear, and something else, hope. But outside the room, hidden in the darkness of space, a signal had already been sent. The caller had blinked for a reason, and someone was coming. Asterisk, the lights went out. No warning. No sound. Just a sudden blackout. One moment, Ray and Lyra sat quietly in the room. The next, everything was dark. The soft hum of machines stopped. Air vents fell silent. The only thing left was a red emergency light blinking slowly, like a heartbeat in the dark. Ray stood up at once. "Stay here," he said. But Lyra was already moving. She didn't look scared. She looked focused, without saying a word. She stood and walked toward the wall. Her chains clinked softly with each step, echoing through the empty room. "Lyra," Ray said, "what are you doing?" She didn't answer. She pressed her hand against the metal. Wall one he hadn't touched before. Nothing happened. Then she did something strange. She placed her forehead gently against a circle on the wall. The metal suddenly responded. A faint blue glow pulsed around her skin. Ray stepped closer, confused. "What? Is this place?" Lyra didn't speak. The wall clicked, then slid open silently. Behind it, a narrow hallway appeared, completely dark. Ray froze. He had no idea this passage even existed. "Did you know about this?" he asked. Lyra looked at him over her shoulder, her golden eyes glowing faintly in the red light. "I don't remember this place," she said, "but my body does." Ray didn't understand. Was it a hidden memory? Or was her body coded to follow instructions built into her? He grabbed a small flashlight from the supply drawer and followed her in. The hallway was cold and quiet. No sound. No lights. Just the soft tap of their footsteps. "This isn't on the map," Ray said. Laura nodded. They didn't want it on the map. They walked in silence for several minutes. The walls were covered in old symbols, alien writing Ray couldn't read suddenly. Laura stopped. They stood in front of another door. This one was different. The frame was made of dark glass. A symbol above it pulsed faintly with green light. "What is this?" Ray asked. "I don't know," Laura whispered. "But it's part of me." She reached out as her fingers touched the glass. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside was a hidden chamber, circular, smooth walls filled with old machines. Dust covered everything. It hadn't been touched in years. Ray stepped in carefully. Screens lined the walls. Some blinked to life the moment Laura walked in. This was a command room, he guessed. But not for humans. "No," Laura said. "For me." Ray looked at her. "What do you mean?" She walked toward a metal table in the center of the room. It was shaped like a bed. But it had ports and wires, a place for her body to connect. "I was supposed to return here after my mission," she said. "After killing." Ray felt his stomach turn. "You were programmed to come back here?" "Yes," she said. "This was my reset station. They would wipe my memory. Reprogram me. Send me again." "But you escaped," Ray said. Laura nodded. "I never came back. I hid. I ran far. That's why I was sold. I was broken property." Ray looked around the room. Everything in here was designed to control her. Even now, some machines were still trying to link with her signal. She stepped back. "Afraid of the table?" Ray grabbed her hand. "Don't touch anything," he said. "This place is dead. You're not going back in." Suddenly a loud beep. One of the screens turned bright red. A message flashed. "Reboot signal detected, host. Unit active. Tracking enabled." Ray's heart dropped. "They found us," he whispered. Laura looked at the screen, her face pale. The collar. It sent the signal. Ray cursed under his breath. "We have to get out of here. Now." But Laura was frozen. "If they come, they'll take me," she said. "They'll turn me into what I was meant to be." Ray looked her in the eyes. "Not while I'm breathing." Laura sat on the floor of the hidden chamber, her back against the cold wall. She didn't move. She didn't blink. Her golden eyes stared at nothing. The screen behind her still flashed red. "Tracking enabled. Unit located." Ray wanted to smash the machine, but he didn't. Not yet. He knelt beside her. "Laura, we don't have much time. Need to tell me the truth. All of it." She didn't look at him. "I was never meant to live," she whispered. Ray was silent. Laura took a deep breath, her voice shaky like wind over broken glass. "I was made in a lab. Not born. I'm not full alien. I'm not human either. I'm both. It's built for one thing." Ray waited. "To end your kind." Her voice didn't carry hate. It carried shame. "I'm a hybrid weapon," she continued. "Your enemies created me. They studied your soldiers, your emotions, your pain. Then they put all of it inside me. The power to fight, the knowledge to destroy, and the ability to feel it all." She looked up at him. "I feel everything I was never supposed to feel." Ray didn't know what to say. He saw her scars now, not just the ones on her body, but the ones in her voice. The silence. The shame, the confusion. "I escaped before. They activated the final program," she said. "I ran, I hid, starved. I was sold like trash. No one knew what I was. Not even me." She touched her arm, "But it's still inside me. The kill code. It's locked. But if they send the right signal, I'll become what I was built to be. A walking death." Ray stared at her, then slowly reached forward and took her hand. "She didn't pull away this time, Laura," he said softly. "You had every chance to hurt me." "You didn't." She shook her head. "Because I'm not broken," she said. "I'm changing. I don't want to be their weapon. I want to be... She stopped. What? Ray asked. You want to be what? Live? She whispered silence. Followed, but it wasn't empty. It was heavy, beautiful, like the weight of truth. Finally leaving her chest, Ray stood up and looked at the machines. Can we remove it? The code, the tracking, all of it. Lura shook her head. Not here. Not without killing me. Ray clenched his fists. Then we'll find another way, a safe place. Lura looked uncertain. Even if I don't want to be a weapon. If I lose control? Ah! Ray gave a small smile. Then I'll remind you who you really are. Just then, a loud boom shook the wall. Dust fell from the ceiling. Red lights flashed faster now. Hostile vessel detected. Impact incoming. They're here, Lura whispered. They found me. Ray grabbed her hand. Then we fight together. Her eyes widened. Even after knowing what I am. He looked at her firmly. I don't care what they made you. I see what you've chosen to be. Thought. The fear in her eyes faded. For the first time since he met her, Lura stood tall. Not like a slave, not like a weapon, but like someone. Ready to protect and be protected. The storm was coming, but so was something stronger. A reason to live. Asterisk the sky. Above the base turned black. Not from clouds, but from the shadow of an enemy's ship. It wasn't big like a city. It wasn't fast like a fighter. It was slow. Heavy. Built to capture. Built to control. Ray looked up through the cracked ceiling panel of the hidden room. The sound of engines rumbled through the air like distant thunder. They're here, Lura whispered. Ray handed her a small blaster. Can you use this? She nodded without looking. I remember too well. Sirens started outside. The base had no guards left, but its systems were waking up in panic. Lights flashed. Doors. Locked. Floors vibrated. Ray peeked outside the secret hallway. Dust fell from the roof. A wall screen blinked red. Unregistered life form detected 3 signatures. Objective. Retrieve Unit 117L. Codename Lura. They don't want to kill you, Ray said. No, Lura replied. They want to own me again. Ray clenched his fists. Not happening. He moved toward the main hallway. Where are you going? Lura asked. Ray looked back, jaw tight. To slow them down. I'm coming with you. Ray hesitated. If they activate you, I'll fight it, she said, voice firm. With you beside me. I think I can. They moved fast, using back corridors. Smoke filled the upper levels. Part of the roof was already broken, and then they saw them. 3 alien soldiers, tall, cold, dressed in black armor with glowing blue stripes. Their helmets covered their faces, but Ray could feel their gaze. One of them turned toward Lura. 117L. Return. His voice was mechanical without emotion. Lura stepped behind Ray. She is free, Ray said. She's not going anywhere with you. The soldier raised a small device. It glowed red. Activating override protocol. Lura dropped to her knees, screaming. Ray rushed to her. Lura, stay with me. Her hands clutched her head. Her veins glowed. Blue, the collar around her neck sparked. Code was being pushed into her mind. Her golden eyes flickered, changing to ice white. No, Ray shouted. He fired his blaster at the soldier's hand. Direct hit. The device exploded. Lyra fell to the floor. Panting, her eyes blinked. The white faded. The gold returned. She looked up at Ray. I'm still here. Ray smiled in relief. Then help me fight. She stood slowly, eyes steady, voice calm. I'm done running. Ray and Laura turned together. The second soldier charged, firing plasma bolts. Ray dodged left. Laura moved like a blur, fast, silent, sharp. She hit the soldier hard, knocking his weapon down. With 2 quick strikes, she crushed the armor plate on his chest. Ray fired again, hitting the third enemy in the leg. The base shook. More forces were arriving. We can't hold this forever, Ray shouted. I know, Laura said. But we don't have to. She reached into her memory, the one part she never opened, the one that scared her, and she spoke a command. Not in English, not in human words, but in the voice of the enemy. Suddenly the walls glowed. The secret chamber behind them came alive. Biohost accepted. Activating defense mode. Ray stared. What? Did you just do? I used what they gave me, Lura said. Not to kill you, but to protect you. Right. From the base ceiling, automated turrets dropped. Energy shields formed at the entrance. More enemy soldiers landed outside, but they were met with a wall of defense they didn't expect. Lura stood tall beside Ray, breathing heavy, but in control. Not a slave, not a weapon, just. We're made for war, Ray said. Yes, she replied. But now I fight for peace. Smoke filled the air. The enemy ship had fallen. Its black hole now burned on the hill outside the base. Flames danced in the sky like red ghosts. Ray leaned against the wall, his shoulder bleeding, but he didn't care. Because in the middle of the floor, Lura wasn't moving. She had used her full power. Not to destroy cities. Not to kill humans. But to protect just one man? Him. Her body had glowed like a star when she stood between Ray and the final enemy blast. The blue fire in her veins exploded outward, destroying everything in its path, and then, silence. Ray dropped to his knees. Beside her, Lura. Her golden eyes were open but empty. Her chest didn't rise. Her hands were still. No, Ray whispered. No, no. He looked around the chamber. Machines sparked. Screens flashed random code. Nothing made sense until he saw it. A panel near the wall, still active. Life core module status. Stable genetic match required for transfer. Ray stared at the screen. His hands shook. He didn't understand alien tech. But he understood enough. This machine could bring her back. But only if someone matched her DNA. Someone like him. He looked down at his bleeding arm. The war had changed his body, enhanced it, modified it. He wasn't just human anymore. He was part of the same program that studied. Alien Tecta. He was the match. Ray dragged himself to the machine, pressed his hand against the reader. Genetic link confirmed. Initiate transfer. He didn't think twice. Yes, he whispered. Wires reached out like vines, gently connecting to Lura's skin. Her body floated slightly, suspended by soft blue light. Energy flowed between them, his strength into her heart. Ray closed his eyes, and everything went white. When he woke up, the room was quiet. He was on the floor. Weak, but alive. And in front of him, Lura stood. Her eyes were brighter than ever. Her skin had a soft glow, and the chains were gone. No collar, no marks, just freedom. She looked down at Ray, then knelt beside him. You gave me your life, she said softly. Ray smiled weakly. I gave you a chance. Lura touched his face gently. I never wanted to be what they made me. Ray coughed. No, you don't have to. They sat together in silence. The war was over. The base was broken. But something new had begun. Lura looked toward the sky-burning clouds fading into calm. I want to help others like me, she said. Slaves, weapons, lost things. Ray nodded. We'll find them, together. She smiled. For the first time, it wasn't sad. It was real. She stood, then reached out her hand. Come on, soldier, she said. Time to build something better. Ray took her hand and stood. Man and weapon, human and alien. Two broken souls who chose not to destroy, but to save. Together.